This episode is sponsored by ThruNite. It's midwinter, and a heavy layer of snow rests upon the cabin. Little did I know there was more to come, much more, increasing the snow load to dangerous levels. And so it was on the cusp of the snowpocalypse that I decided it best to build. Let me show you what I have in mind. The kitchen needed a second countertop with a set of drawers, which I'll build using these crates and some rough-cut red oak I had on hand. Let's get to work. Even in its rough form, I really like the look of the new countertop and drawers. I'll replace the front slats with something more sturdy, along with some other finishing details, but those will have to wait. In the time that it took to build the countertop and drawers, just look at how much more snow had fallen. I sunk my 6-foot level into the snow to measure its depth, making sure to keep it perfectly vertical for accuracy. The snow on the cabin measured 5 feet, 4 inches thick. Keep in mind that this is after it had been packed down underneath its own weight. The fact of the matter is, over a dozen feet of snow has fallen in the area this winter, with more to come, stranding travelers and putting structures under considerable stress. The situation had become dangerous. Several buildings in the area had already succumbed to the impossible snow load. The good news is that the collapses I know of were outbuildings, and neither human nor animal were harmed in their destruction. The bad news is that many valuable tools and machinery were still lost, and although they can be replaced, I can't say the same thing for the livelihoods they helped provide. I was supposed to do some ice fishing with my friend, but I'd encountered some problems of my own, which kept me from joining him at the lake. Once again, the snowcat is out of commission. This time, it's the carb. I suspect the problem is a sticky needle valve, but I won't be able to work on it here. Over at the lake, my friend arrived alone during a snow squall. He dug out an area, drilled his holes into the ice, and let down his lines. It was then that the ice at the center of the lake spontaneously gave way and collapsed back into the water. The good news is that my friend, in his caution, had kept himself to the edge of the lake, where the ice had remained. But after seeing the entire center of the lake fall in, he packed up and left. He figured there was no use in trying to add some fish to his freezer, when there was a chance he'd end up in theirs instead. Back at the cabin, I couldn't travel anywhere, even if I tried. Walking on foot was impossible, and walking on snowshoes was difficult in the fresh snow, so I was forced to stick close to the cabin. After clearing the panels for the 100th time, my next job was to replenish my firewood, which was running low. I'd hoped to bring in a load of firewood with a snowcat, but since that wasn't going to happen, I'd have to do it with the snowshoes and pull sled instead. I located this dead-standing tree several hundred feet from the cabin, which was of manageable size for me to haul out. Another 5 trips, and I'll have the rest of the tree here, at which point I'll be ready for bed. Well, my friends, I'm home safe and sound for the day. I've got my wood replenished, although I still need to go out and get the rest of the tree, but I'm going to take a bit of a break first. I'm probably not going to get any more wood today, probably tomorrow. I've got my tea, I've got some water again with melting the snow outside. There's plenty of water around, you just need to melt it. So again, that's why the firewood is so important. It provides not only heat, but water when I'm out here. I suppose it was a good thing that I couldn't meet my friend at the lake, but I am quite frustrated with my snowcat. I love that machine. It goes through stuff that nothing else can get through during the wintertime. Now, if you have a proper snowmobile, like a modern mountain sled, you could go through basically anything the snowcat can go through. But the snowcat is basically like a tractor. It's got a lot of power, it's got a lot of traction, and it can pull heavy things like trees or cargo, where a snowmobile just wouldn't be able to do that. But unfortunately, I've spent more time working on that snowcat than actually using it this year. But that's the way it is with older machines. You always need to give them TLC and keep up with them with the maintenance. And it's been hard to do when the snow's been so deep and I haven't been able to store it in a shop. So it's just been difficult. You'll probably hear a cold in my voice right now. I've had a cold for, I think, a month or maybe 2 months now. I just can't get rid of it. It's just stuck inside my chest. It probably doesn't help that I'm, wading through all this deep snow all day long and tiring myself out, but it really can't be helped. I'm going to try and take it easy after this, though, and see if I can't get better. Usually I have coffee, but today I've got a peppermint tea, so hopefully that'll help me out. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering about the cabin and if I'm worried about it because of how much snow is above my head right now. And the short answer is no, I'm not worried about it in the least. My dad and I built this cabin to be strong, to carry the weight, and I know that it has no issues holding that much snow up on the roof. Actually, in my case, it benefits me greatly because snow on average has an approximate R value of 1 per every inch of depth. So if you take the fact that there is 5 feet 4 inches thick of snow on the roof right now, that means the snow adds an R value of 64 to the cabin. So I need less firewood to heat the cabin. It just makes my job easier. So I welcome having this much snow above my head. But it is extremely heavy. So we can do a little bit of math to figure out how much weight is above my head right now. So we can take the footprint of the cabin roof, which is 680 square feet. If I were to fold it flat, it would be more. It would have a 900 square foot footprint. But since the roof is drawn up with a steep pitch, with a 13-12 rise and run, that's steeper than 45 degrees, by the way. It has a footprint of about 680 square feet. So you take 680 square feet, times that by the depth of the snow, which is 5 feet 4 inches thick, but just to round down, we'll say it's 5 feet 3 inches thick to make it 5 1/4 deep. And we'll times that by the weight of snow per cubic foot. Now, fresh snow is, I think, around 6 to 7 pounds per cubic foot. And as it settles, it weighs more in the neighborhood of about 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds per cubic foot. And then as it gets packed down, packed snow has a weight of 20 pounds per cubic foot. So it gets very heavy. And most of the snow above my head right now is packed. It's extremely packed. But for the sake of being conservative, we'll say that the bottom half of the snow on the roof right now is 20 pounds per cubic foot. But we'll say that the top half is maybe a bit lighter. So we'll say it's 10 pounds per cubic foot. So to average that out, we'll say there is 15 pounds per cubic foot of snow above my head. So 680 square feet times 5 1/4 feet of depth times 15 pounds per cubic foot. That means that there is just over 50,000 pounds of weight sitting on the roof right now. Just to put that into perspective, if you were to take a transport truck and trailer, which is empty, it weighs approximately 35,000 pounds. So there is so much more weight sitting on the roof right now at over 50,000 pounds. So as I mentioned before, that's why the lake collapsed in on itself. Now normally lake ice has a chance to freeze and thicken up so that it's strong enough to carry the weight of the snow as it comes a little bit later in the season. But we had a bit of a unique beginning to the winter this year. So normally what happens is the temperature will drop below zero. We'll get a little bit of snow, but the ice will have a chance to freeze and thicken up and get strong so that it can carry the weight of the snow as it comes. But what happened this year is as soon as it dropped below freezing, we got a huge dumping of snow right away. And it kept snowing, and that snow got really thick. So it insulated the ice below from getting any thicker because it couldn't get cold enough. So it was a recipe for disaster from the beginning. The ice didn't have a chance to get strong, and also it has to carry this added weight that's sitting above it. And this year we had a bit more snow than usual, so that's why it collapsed. As well, many of the lakes in this area have a current that run through them. So if you have moving water under the ice, it really undermines it as well. It makes it really dangerous. So those three factors came together to make the perfect storm, and that's why the entire center of the lake fell in. I'm just glad nobody was hurt, nobody was standing out there when it happened, and it just goes to show you that you always have to be careful, especially when dealing with ice. Don't go out alone if you can help it. Know the thickness of the ice and the characteristics of the body of water that you're on. At the end of the day, I'm glad that everyone made it home safe and sound, and that's really all you can ask for. What's in my pocket? Oh. It's one of my heat packs. My pocket was getting really warm, and I didn't know why. Yeah, if you come from a cold climate, you'll know what these are. Otherwise, these are heat packs. They've got a catalyst inside, so when you open up the pack and it's exposed to air, there's a chemical reaction that happens and it heats right up. So this produces quite a bit of heat for several hours. Now normally you stick these inside your boots or your gloves to keep your hands and feet warm, but I use them in my camera bags to keep my camera batteries from freezing. So these little heat packs are what enables me to film all day long in the cold without my cameras shutting down on me. Last time I was in Bass Pro, I saw a big pack of them on sale, so I figured it would be a good time to stock up. Okay, so I've got one more thing to show you before I go, and I'm really excited about this. This is the brand new Outsider flashlight made by ThruNite. And ThruNite is the sponsor of today's episode, so I would like to thank them for doing that. I've been using their products for over a decade, and they're the only flashlight that I use. They're a high quality product, and I really stand behind it, which is why I'm proud to put my name on this flashlight. So you'll see that this is an Outsider flashlight because it has the Outsider crest on the side. So if you know of anyone who is outdoorsy or works outside at nighttime, maybe that's you, this is the flashlight for you. This is something that you need in your EDC kit. I know many people use their cell phone flashlights, which works, all right. It shows you what's right in front of you. But if you are an outdoorsy person, you don't want to be caught out in the dark with just a cell phone light. You can get it on Amazon, which is really convenient. I know for a lot of people, if you've got an Amazon account, you can just go on there and type in ThruNite Outsider TT20, or you can check out the link in the description below. This is highly durable. It's made from aircraft grade aluminum. It's rechargeable, which is super important. You've got a charge port on the side here, which uses a USB-C port, so you can charge your cell phone cord into it and it'll charge. So you don't have to worry about buying new batteries all the time. And it has a huge capacity, so it'll last a long time as well on a charge. It's extremely bright. It's 2,000 lumens, which is incredible. It's brighter than a high beam headlight, which I think is on average about 1,600 to 1,700 lumens. And when you purchase an Outsider flashlight with the Outsider crest on the side, a portion of that sale goes towards this channel and supporting the work that I do and making videos. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, my friends, stay safe, be well, and God bless.